everybody. My name is Dr. Rufaro. If this is your first time, welcome to Nehemiah African Projects. We'd like to bring you information, not only just information, but really education to help you take action on investing in different African countries. We'd love to make sure that people are well aware of a potential country that they want to invest in. Due diligence is always part of the process. And today we've really been talking about culture. You know, I love learning about different cultures, particularly different African cultures, and seeing similarities and a few differences here and there, and learning why certain African cultures do what they do, and you know what motivates them, and how they kind of address challenges and things of that nature. So in terms of culture, what does culture have to do with investing? Well, culture has a lot to do with investing, particularly in an African country, in any African country. Specifically, we're speaking to the U.S. diaspora here. You have to have cultural context when investing in a country that you don't live in. Maybe currently, maybe you plan to live there and move there as part of your retirement plan. Cultural context is very important in investing, and it helps you to make an educated decision and reduce your risk. So we're talking today about culture specifically for South Africa. So little that I know, little that I've experienced, but it is quite a lot. South Africa is right next to Zimbabwe. I was born in Zimbabwe. Hence my name Rufaro. It means happiness in the Shona language of Zimbabwe. It means happiness. So South Africa has always been kind of like that sister country for me growing up. You know, whenever you meet someone from South Africa, you're just kind of like, yeah, because we have a lot of similarities, from food that we eat to maybe even cultural context when it comes to marriages, traditional marriages that is, and paying lobola and all these things. But South Africa is a beautiful country. I do remember the very first time that I visited. I must have been maybe 7 years old, thereabout, maybe 6 years old. I do recall my father taking us all on a family trip there. We were in Johannesburg, and that was the very first time I was in South Africa. And I just remember tall skyscraper buildings, very busy, hustle bustle kind of environment. And when I reflect on that, the last time that I was there, which was in 2022, still the same and that much more, right? South Africa is a beautiful country. Always have a wonderful time when in South Africa. Love their food, love their music. South Africans, they love to dance. Some of you are familiar with Amapiano music genre. A lot of cultural influence really on, not in just their country, but on the continent. In terms of fashion, so many things. Very vibrant people, I can say that for sure. They love to have a good time. And, with South Africa, when it comes to the culture, they have tremendously made a lot of progress. They initially were recognized as a republic. I believe it was like in 1910. And then they left the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth, that was about in 1961. And then in 1994, they had their first interracial elections, which ended what many known as apartheid. So a lot of his history has taken place in that country. They do have several languages, and it's definitely become a hub for other African countries, nations. They migrate to South Africa because there's opportunities for work. Some will move to South Africa to work, for education. They have mature universities. definitely ranked high across Africa as well. So many people move to South Africa for hopefully to develop themselves and maybe help support even their families if they've moved from a different African country, really. So yeah, South Africa is a very unique place. They have mature systems in terms of their economy if you compare them with other economic climates in Africa. And truth be told, over the past several years, and I'll even say past decade, many people in the diaspora have relocated to South Africa. That has been a top destination. Some have referred to it as a soft landing if you're coming from the diaspora, because they have a lot of mature systems in place that somewhat mimic what others are used to if they've been living in the diaspora. Not that they don't have their challenges. I think most recent has been the energy supply. So sometimes electricity has been an issue. Most have sometimes solar backup, but that has a little bit crept in a little bit as a challenge more recently than in the past. Their currency is very strong. They use the South African rand. I think it's there about maybe $1 to about 17 South African rand, thereabout. Of course, it always fluctuates daily, maybe by $1 or 50 cents or so. But overall, if you look, even in high inflationary times, even here in the U.S., I think the highest I saw it go up to was 18 rand to $1. So still fairly in and around between $16, $17, $18, which is pretty good currency stability. It's a good sign for economy. And in terms of investments, it definitely attracts a lot of foreign investors from all over, even those that are from other African countries or in the diaspora in other, countries, maybe Western countries. So South Africa has a lot going for itself. And one of the top opportunities for South Africa, because it has developed systems, has definitely been real estate, specifically for Airbnb. Because the systems are in place, you can definitely run things transparent without being there. Or if you decide to make it part of your retirement package, there are African Americans that I know that they have definitely done that or planning to do that in the near future. Some even as near future as next year, 2026, planning to move there and retire there. So you can do a lot with your US dollar in South Africa, which is a wonderful thing. So they definitely welcome that. They have beaches, they have mountains, they have cities. If you've ever been to Sandton, Johannesburg, everybody knows that's a good time. So South Africa is a beautiful place. Very, very, very vibrant environment. And again, what does this have to do with investing? Just understanding a little bit of the cultural context, certainly helps people make that investment decision easier. Like, hey, should I invest? Should I not invest? What should I look out for? What are the things that can be managed with less risk? And so South Africa is a place that kind of makes that a little bit easier. Again, you still want to do your due diligence. There are scammers out there. There are scammers in every country. So you want to do your due diligence and make sure you're not rushing into something that you just don't know much about. You always want to invest in things that you know, things that you've seen, or things that you, at least at the bare minimum, understand. And then put systems in place. So if you're talking about Airbnb, you can use those platforms, of course, to get bookings. But, in terms of the actual management, you want to put a trustworthy team in place and systems to ensure that when things need to get done, they're getting done timely and with a spirit of excellence. Because remember, it is your investment. You invested in it. So in South Africa, apartments, sometimes they refer to them as flats. can be very appealing, and even some houses that are maybe sometimes slightly outside the city, in suburban areas, also do very well. So the real estate market in South Africa is prime, folks. It's definitely something to look into. And beautiful houses with beautiful landscapes. You'll be very surprised, let's say, if you had, you know, I don't know a wide range that I could say, but even like what you can get for 100,000 USD in South Africa compared to, I don't even think you can get anything in the US for $100,000 in terms of real estate, because real estate has just appreciated so much in the United States. There's an affordability issue that's everybody's aware of here in the US. So people, it's either you're willing to move out or downsize, you know, or you just decide, I'm not gonna buy a house, I'm just gonna rent, and I'm gonna invest my money that I would have been paying to mortgage, and that's perfectly fine. It's really just up to you. So I'm always of the like mind. I'm like, maybe you've had enough of the U.S. real estate market, and you're like, let me look at the African real estate market, or the South African, specifically the South African real estate market. Absolutely, look into it. They have mature systems, mature platforms where you can browse properties. You can reach out to registered real estate developers, and get a conversation going on. But you also want to be aware of, for South Africa, I do believe they have some conditions that you want to make sure you can meet. For example, if you're a foreigner, I think, I can verify this, you may have to, you know, pay like 50% upfront or things of that nature. So it also depends the type of property that you're acquiring. Someone can get an apartment in an urban area maybe for less than 50,000 USD, and someone here in the US can go buy a brand new truck for almost 70,000 US dollars and finance it. So you make your choice of what you want to invest in. And hey, there's nothing wrong with trucks and nothing like that. But I'm just saying, if you put it into context, buy a brand new car in the US, because car market in the US is really exploded. Like, even if you try to get a used car, good luck trying to buy anything, you know, I don't know if you can buy anything under like 25 grand. It's really difficult to find it, even in the used car market. So, but brand new car, I mean, you're talking 40K, 50K. You see some people paying 60, 70K for a brand new car, and they're financing it. But what if you decided to purchase a property in South Africa and you put 10% down? It was a $50,000 property. You put 10% down, which is $5,000, and you decide to pay a payment plan, or in this case, they might require you to put down $25,000 if you haven't met certain requirements, and then you pay the remaining $25,000 with installments, or you finance that. But maybe let's say you paid off in 2 years, 3 years, and now it's a complete cash flow machine for you, and you can start cash flowing it even if you're still, you know what I'm saying, maybe paying what you financed that $25,000 for. You can turn it into a cash flow wealth system, you know, as soon as you start marketing pretty much and setting everything up. And there are costs to that, so please don't be too naive on that. But I just want to, you know, put things into perspective that, you know, the sky's the limit, and South Africa is a beautiful place. If you've never visited, I encourage you to do so. I would love to go check out Cape Town next. They have beautiful beaches. So yeah, thank you for watching. My name is Dr. Rufaro. This is Nehemiah African Projects.